What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am your host, Rex Ruger, along with my sidekick, the great Alexis Arguello Puppet.
And I'm your other host, Frank Benjis, along with my sidekick, Weed, back with another episode.
Wow, gave Weed a shout out even. I like it.
My sidekick is Weed, man.
The man knows how to give shout outs, man. There he is. We finally got him. We got you in here, champ?
How you doing?
Good, man. Good. I'm glad we finally got the chance to make this happen, and we appreciate you doing it. And for people out there that don't recognize the face, because you do look a lot like Pops, I will say you do look a lot like him, man. And as we said when we interviewed Marvelous Marvin Hagler's son last week, you are from the loins of a legend.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, utmost respect to your father, of course, Gerald G-Man McClellan. First of all, let us first start out with, because I think most boxing fans obviously know the unfortunate incidents that happened to your father. How is he currently doing?
Oh, he's doing great, man. You know, he's confined to a wheelchair.
Right.
He's blind in both eyes, and he has a little bit of a hearing loss and just a tad bit of short-term memory. But other than that, man, he's as strong as an ox, man. He's healthy as me and you.
And what was his feelings like, when you approach him and you tell him that this is a game that you want to get into, given everything that he's been through, what were his feelings on it?
He just my dad is just so confident, man, within his, work ethic. And he knows by me being his son, I'm going to have the same type of work ethic as him. So, he's like, listen, if you're serious about this, man, I'm all for it. I'm behind you, man. I support you. So,
what age were you at when that, when that unfortunate incident and everything that occurred from that fight back in '95 with Nigel Benn? How old were you around that time?
I was about 7 to 8 years old.
And did you harbor any resentment towards boxing at all? Because of the fallout of what happened to your father?
Well, let's say, okay, so I grew up pretty rough, man. So from the time I was born until the accident with my dad, yeah, everything was good, everything was cool. But after that, my dad, can't, function as a regular father, come get me, take me here, take me there, do that, do father-son activities like we used to. That led me to, so about 13, 14 is when, I ventured off into the streets, and I started getting into a lot of trouble, joining gangs, stuff like that, man. Regular things that, a young man without a father, would get into.
Sure.
Right. He ain't got that father figure, to, put his foot on my neck, and steer me into the right direction.
Right.
I'm doing with my sons. So, yeah, man, it was just it kind of was like downhill, from 95, man, so when I got about 13, 14, I'm, the love and affection and the bond that a son would have with his father, I went seeking that elsewhere, and and that elsewhere was in the streets. So yeah. Me and a whole bunch of my homies, we just, that was all from single parent homes, they didn't have their father in their lives. And so, you get about like 15 to 20 kids, like that, man, they're gonna be
wilding out.
Yeah,
well, let me ask you this. Because of that, and obviously, I played around in the streets. I know my dad did too. And what drew you out of that lifestyle? What made you realize that wasn't the lifestyle that was going to be suited for you?
And listen, so it took me a while. It took me a couple head bumps. Okay, so now I got kids of my own, man. I got a family. I got the kids of my own. So, let's see. I did in 2011. I caught a federal case, and it was involving weapons, pistols, and stuff like that, man. And you know, just being in the life of crime and stuff. And I end up doing 7.5 years in the federal penitentiary. So while incarcerated, man, I just I had already dibbed and dabbed in the amateur, you know, circuit, man. You know, I had about like 7 to 8 amateur fights, man, you know, but I had a pro style. I didn't quite have an amateur style. I had a pro style because I was always training amongst pros.
Right.
So while incarcerated, man, that's why I got my mind together. You know, that's why I grew up.
Yeah.
I caught my Fed test when I was 22 years old. I did all of my 20s in there. I came my last birthday when I was in the Feds, I think I turned 31 years old.
Yeah.
So that was one of the best things to happen to me, you know, as an adult, because it laid room for me to, you know, gather myself, reinvent myself, think about what I wanted to do, think about the effect and the image that I wanted to place upon my kids, man. Like, because in my eyes, my dad is Superman. You know, my dad is this 2-time middleweight world champion, boxing Hall of Fame legend.
Yeah.
He got so many accolades, man. You know, so many things he done did in the sport of boxing. Gave his life to boxing, man.
Literally.
All for the love he had and for me and his other 2 kids. So, you know, it take a great man to set aside, you know, his personal gain and do something for other people.
Sure.
And my dad, you know, was that person. You know, he was like the glue to, you know, his family, man. You know, he brought everybody together. You know, he loved kids. You know, he would go to school, talk to the kids in the classes, you know, just do all types of stuff, man. So, you know, that person right there is the person that I look up to, and that is the person that I would want to be towards my kids.
Sure. Yeah.
And also my community.
So that makes it easy to scratch off my next question, because I was going to say, you know, how come turning pro so late in life? But I didn't know, you know, about the incarceration. So do you feel like now, at your age now, and having so few professional fights, you feel like you're trying to make up ground? Like, are you looking to be very active? Like, what are your aspirations and goals out of the sport at your current age?
So currently I'm 34 years old. I went pro in 2021.
Yeah.
I just had my 6th fight. I just had my 6th pro fight. September 30th.
Okay.
Pro fight. And before that, I had a pro fight in Houston, August 12th. And before that, I had a fight in May, I think May 20th. So this year, and then my next fight is this. You know, this is gonna be a spoiler alert, but my next fight, we looking for an opponent right now for November.
Okay.
The middle, somewhat late November.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna get back in there in December. So I like to tell people right now, I'm on tour right now, man. You know, hey,
you're trying to fast track it.
Hey. This is a non-stop campaign, you know, like the president, you know, when the president's going for a presidential run, man, you know, he's stopping this day.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, so while I was incarcerated, all I did was work out.
Yeah.
My body, train my mind, just prepare myself. And I would watch, you know, ESPN, Friday Night Fights, I would watch PBC, I would watch all of that. And, you know, people would just come up to me like, man, you really got it, man. Man, get out there and go do your thing, man. Hey, you a part of a legacy. Go continue it, man.
Yeah.
Like, man, you know, you're not a bad person. You know, you're really not supposed to be here. You know, you just, you know, this was a necessary step that you had to, you know, take and, you know, be a part of in order to be great. This is a minor setback for a major comeback for you.
Love that.
Go out there and go be great. And when I did, so I came home at the end of 2019, and then 2020 COVID hit. So everything was shut down. So I
Yep.
couldn't go pro in 2020. So 2021, boom, that was my year. Then my second pro fight was on a Roy Jones Jr. card in Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotel. Well, Hard Rock Casino. And let's see, Roy Jones Jr. was there. He was commentating. Sugar Shane Mosley Jr. was commentating also with him. Sugar Shane Mosley was there. Mike Tyson was there. Who else? It was so I was trained for 2 fights by legendary 4-time middleweight champion Julian Jackson.
Oh, one of the greatest, the Hawk.
Yeah.
Hawk, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and like, okay, and it was crazy because, you know, we live in a day and age now to where, you know, social media, you know, it can help you and it can hurt you. So, you know, by me having kind of like, you know, celebrity status as far as like where I'm from, because everybody know my dad.
Yep.
And everybody know, you know, me, and you know, like I said, I had already been amateur boxing for just a little bit. So I was already popular, you know. So, you know, by the time I went pro and I'm campaigning, you know, I'm putting out videos and me training, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, man, and like it's just gaining the momentum. It's like snowballing, you know. It's, you know, it's just picking up and growing, and growing and growing. My fan base is just growing crazy. All on social media, you know, man. I'm getting DMs from my dad's fans, like from London, from New Jersey, from this place, from that place. They like, oh man, I knew that Gerald had a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And now you're boxing. Now you got a pro fight coming up. So man, you know, you got a fan to me now, you know. So, you know, I'm gonna be watching for you. Yeah. And I'll get that on a daily. So, you know, first pro fight, 3rd round knockout. Second fight, third fight. My 3rd fight, I lost. My 3rd fight was decision. I lost. 4th fight, knockout. 5th fight, knockout. 6th fight, won. About to have another fight. So it's just after every fight, the momentum, like I said, just keep on snowballing, getting bigger, and bigger. Yeah. And, everything going good, man. Everything going exactly how I planned it, how I manifested it. I got a great team. My S.O.G team, my son and Gerald team is wonderful, man.
Now, what's the goal as far as like what's the goal? Being as that you are on this fast track, you know, how far do you really want to take this? Like, you know, are title belts and championships and all that stuff is something you've got your eyes set on?
Exactly. Listen, I'm in it to win it, because look, I understand this. I understand this. See, okay, I'm not the average guy stepping into the pro ring because I have a lot of, you know, hype to live up to.
Sure.
And I don't let it get to me at all. I perform very well under pressure, but I don't let the hype get to me. You know, I just, if anything, it pushes me and it puts me in this trance-like state to where, like, you know, okay, so the average guy that goes pro, you know, he really doesn't have to fast track. You know, I'm sort of like getting my get back because all the years that I missed when I was incarcerated.
Right.
So no amateur, I don't have a big, I have 7 to 8 amateur fights. But like I said, like the heart I have, you know, I don't, you know, most amateurs feel like they have to have at least 80 to 100 amateur fights to feel like they pro. Me, I'm not cocky or arrogant. I'm just confident in myself.
Right.
And work that I put in inside the ring.
Right.
And inside the gym. Like,
well, the good thing is too, though, is that you're also a very young 34 because you don't have all that mileage that a guy
no, at all.
Yeah,
gets to 34. You know, usually a guy gets to 34 years old, he's winding the career down in boxing.
Yeah. So like I like say, for instance, you get your average 24-year-old that's a pro right now. He probably had 120, 50 amateur fights.
Yeah.
Now he's been, not to say that he's been hitting the head, a lot. He may be slick, but that's a lot of fights, to be in the ring and to be banged up over the course of years. I don't have that mileage on me.
Right.
I don't. And now, like, at me being 34, when I'm in the gym and I'm in Houston right now, so there's like the boxing community is so big. Like, there's so many different gyms over here, over there. So it's nothing for this gym to come to my gym, or that gym, invite my gym to go over there. And so I like to call them sparring parties.
Right.
Throw a sparring party. So you got all these guys that I spar, young tough guys, man, like guys that done won nationals and golden gloves and all types of stuff like that, man. And they get in the ring with me and they be like, and I talk to them afterwards, they be like, yeah, man, so how old are you, man? I say, I'm 34. They be like, nah. They be like, what? They be like, man, like, you don't look it, and you damn sure don't box like you look like you probably like 25, 26.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, but you box. Man, it was like, man, you can't be till 34. I was like, I'm 34. I was like, man, listen, I gotta, like, I'll probably box I'll probably spar a 3-time national amateur that's getting ready to go pro, and he's probably like 19. I'm saying, like, man, listen, man, I got a son that's 18 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, Texas offers. See, I moved there from Illinois, Texas, and I've been here for about a year now.
Yeah.
Offers so much when it comes to boxing. This was the perfect place for me to move.
Yeah.
Shout out Big X the plug. Bitch, I'm from Texas.
Hey, you know what's so crazy? I just seen him in the club last month. I just seen him.
Yeah, I love that song. I bumped that. I'm not from Texas, but I wish I was.
Yeah. Hey, I feel good, man. Like, we got a good solid. I got a good solid team behind me, man. Your team is everything.
Sure.
Your team is everything. I got, okay, so my aunt who take care of my dad, she's been taking care of my dad, Lisa McCLELLAN, taking care of my dad for about 29 years going.
And that would be Lisa, right?
Yep.
We saw her in the documentary there, which was a fantastic documentary, which I got to ask you, man, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, though, since all this has happened now, and it seems like your father and Nigel Benn have buried a hatchet, but because your father was, in a sense, taken from you, any animosity or any axe to grind with Nigel Benn?
Nah, man, I just feel like, the sport can be brutal, man. The sport can be brutal. It is a brutal sport, man. So, do I think he had any intentions on hurting my dad? Like, I mean, as fighters, you go in there to hurt the other guy.
Right.
But after the fight, you would hope that, he's have all his faculties, still together, and you would hope that he would be able to go back to his family in one piece. So, this is the hurt business, man. We train 6 to 8 weeks, on how to break down and hurt the guy that's across from me. So, I mean, if I ever was, bitter about, not having a regular relationship or bond with my father, due to the accident, in the ring, that been left. I probably left that in the cell.
That's healthy. That's healthy. Yeah, you have to.
That's healthy. Like,
you gotta let that go.
I don't even ask. I don't ask or wonder what if or this could have been that. Like, I don't do that no more, because if you focus on the past, it'll paralyze your future.
Sure. Yeah.
So man, that's neither here or there, man. You know, if I seen Nigel Benn, you know, which I probably will, you know, if I seen him, you know, because I'm going to be in the sport, man, for a long time, man, before I retire.
Right, and he also has a son fighting as well.
I was
So I
gonna
mean,
say,
you know,
what about a possible McClellan Jr. Connor Ben?
And listen, look,
yeah, why not? I mean, Conor Benn was going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. I mean, you know, their fathers had history.
yeah. See, okay, so I fight at 175. That's like now. Connor fights at 147.
You might be too big for those boys, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, I walk around at 180. And,
yeah,
right. Drop down 5 pounds, but Eubank Jr. was gonna fight Connor at a catch weight at 160.
Yeah.
So you know, if I fight at 175, a catch weight with me and Connor would be like 168.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if he can make, I mean, you know,
right.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't want to plump up, right? That's the easy part.
But so okay, I think so me and my coach and my team, you know, because 160 has been on my mind a lot. Like there was a point in time where I was walking around like this year. I was walking around at 175 at my fighting weight. So if I could walk around at my fighting weight at 175, you know, I can get down to 168.
Yeah,
that's where some big fish are at.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I was going to challenge myself. So I wanted to challenge myself and be like, man, you know, the guys at 175 can't see, because I used to walk around in like 200. So, and then I slimmed down to 180 and then fighting at 175. So I'm like, man, these dudes, like, they cannot take my power. Like they just, I'm walking them down. Like they no match. Like, and I know this, and I know the you know, as I rise in ranks, you know, the competition gets better. But I mean, what would happen if I were to go to 168? Like, man,
hey, I got something for. I'll play fantasy promoter right here and say, McCLELLAN Jr. versus. Oh, who did I just have on my mind?
Bevo?
No.
Oh, you're saying 168.
Morrell Jr.
Morrell.
David Morrell.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody seems to want to fight him. There's a lot of guys at 168 that seem to be getting avoided. Benavidez is a guy that gets avoided a lot. I mean, he's finally got a fight now, but I mean, you know, you could make a claim that Canelo's been, you know, I know people don't like to hear it on the internet that Canelo's ducking. Canelo's got his fanboys out there for sure, but
I think so. Who do you got with Benavidez and Boo Boo?
Well, Benavidez is one of my favorite fighters.
Benavidez, easy work.
Yeah.
Now,
see, that's another thing. People say, "Oh, well, experience." Okay, well, listen. Benavidez, he don't have an Olympic medal. Like, go to Olympics. He don't have officials that, you know, Boo Boo has. Boo Boo he's a silver medalist, you know. He's
definitely the slicker fighter. I just don't think he's got enough power to keep Benavidez.
I think Boo Boo will make it a good fight. And when I say easy work, you know, I don't think Benavidez has got the type of like lights out. He's going to drop somebody like old Mike Tyson in the first round or nothing. He's more of like a cumulative damage guy. But I think he, you know, it's collateral damage. And then by like 8, 9, 10 rounds, he's just beating you up. You know, I mean, that's a tough fight. I like Boo Boo though. He's really doing a hell of a job selling this fight.
Hey, listen, I've been watching him, man. And I like him, man.
He's very likable.
You know, it's crazy. I never sat down and watched any of his fights, but this is gonna be the fight that I sit down and watch.
I think it'll be the sleeper good fight of 2023. It will be. Yeah, it'll steal the show.
So the other brother versus Charlo.
Yeah.
Who you got for that?
I just think
Charlo's gonna wash him.
Yeah, I don't feel like Jose Benavidez is quality of fighter as his brother, but Charlo has had a long layoff though, man, and been going through his own trials.
Charlo's good though. Charlo's got
he is good. That's the undefeated Charlo.
Now let me ask you this: Canelo versus Benavidez.
Yeah, I like Benavidez in that fight. I take a lot of, believe me, I take a lot of abuse on Facebook for defending Benavidez because the Canelo fans come out in droves. They come out in droves. You cannot beat the Canelo fans, man. They are loyal and fierce.
I respect Canelo and his career and
Me
his
too.
resume.
Me too. Take nothing away from the guy.
I just think when you put a guy in there who's, Benavidez is only like 25 years old or something.
Yeah, you're making the guy wait. You're making the guy wait too. I mean, he's been a mandatory for a while. He does deserve his shot. He does.
Hey, listen, and Benavidez comes down from like I just seen
boy.
Yeah.
I think I just seen a video of him the other week and shadowboxing in the ring.
Shadowboxing. I saw the same video. People in the comment section were just like, he's definitely north of 200.
Yeah.
He was huge.
I was like, damn. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I was like, that's a big boy right there.
No wonder why he beat Plant so easy.
Yeah, and a lot of people say he's staying at 168, and he really should move up to 175 himself. That he's being a weight bully, and this and that. I don't think he'll stay at 168 for too many more fights.
Because he gotta be killing himself to get down.
Killing himself. Yeah. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this, but he was an overweight kid when he was young. He struggled with obesity. So
he looked like it. He looked like he got that body type. He looked like it. He looked like he naturally used to be probably like 220.
Yeah, he like Zach Randolph. He can never fully get in shape. Never all the way in shape.
Yeah, Zach Randolph was that guy that managed to play in the NBA but had a dad bod his whole career, though. I don't know how he did it, man. But and so, do you think that you carry any of your dad's attributes? And if so, like what characteristics of him do you have?
Oh man, it's scary, man. Like, listen, okay, I'm gonna just tell you what people observe as far as my close family members. Like my dad has 3 sisters. Like all my dad 3 sisters, his brothers, my mother. Like they first and foremost, they say that I have his attitude, man. Like they say I have his personality. Like it's just like when it comes to being serious, when it comes to having a sense of humor, when it comes to doing charity work, with the kids, like at the gym I'm at right now, the kids, like the amateurs, they love me, man. Like I have my own personal S.O.G. like community of like just amateur boxers and the parents that bring them to the gym, and they just, man, like you got
a street crew.
Yeah, like listen, like while I'm in the gym and I'm getting ready for a fight, because like I said, like I've been fighting back to back every other month, like back to back. So like I'm always in fight shape. I'm always in fight mode. So but even with that being said, you got some guys, that kind of might be, and I've seen these guys before, they might be, so consumed and wrapped up in what they're doing, getting ready for a fight or something like that. They won't really give you the time of day or a conversation, like as far as like a younger, amateur, but me, if I'm punching on the heavy bag or whatever I'm doing in the gym, and I may see, two young boxers, man, 16, 17, they watching me, and they say, man, so when you do this, how do you go from this and step over and do this? And I'll demonstrate, I'll show them, come over here, let me show you. Look, so in your boxing stance, this is what you do. Keep your hands close. When I go in for this, all you have to do is step over to the side, parry that, come in, do this, like, it, like, I don't care what because like, I'm a firm believer in you never harbor knowledge, man. Don't give it. Look, if you got it, give it.
Sure.
I would want somebody to do that for me.
Absolutely.
Like, I would want somebody, like, there's so many amateurs, in the gym that I've taken under my wing, and like I'm gonna be posting because yesterday was my last day in the gym for the week, but yesterday I was in the gym and I got a good sweat, I got a good workout in, but you know, once I seen one of these kids named Gabriel, man, like he's 14 years old, man. He's tall for his age. 14. He has 2 amateur belts, man. Like, got a lot of potential, and he's very serious about it. So I put the hand pads on, man, and I worked him out for probably like 6 rounds straight, man.
That's
And,
great.
you know, while his dad and his mom was right there on the sideline of the ring, we in the middle of the ring. I'm gonna post it, man. Like, and they just like, man, we appreciate you, man. You know, we love doing with them. Like, and it's like that with me. Like, the energy that I bring is so different. It's just so fresh. Like, when I tell you, okay, so my first pro fight in Houston was the fight I had in August. So when I tell you that I brung more people and had them sitting in the stands more than a couple of local guys that was from Houston, man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and they all got S.O.G t-shirts on, Son of Gerald. Like, it was just crazy. Like, the promoter was like, what the hell? Like, how, you just moved down here, you got like, that's because, like, when I got down here, I came down here with a plan.
Yeah.
I came down here with a plan. My plan was to go to this gym, this gym, this gym, this gym, got my bag, got my sparring gear, man, like, and, you know, be respectful, but, you know, I come to get work.
Yeah, you sure?
I come to make a name. Like, you know, this is, I'm making S.O.G a household name, man. Gerald McClellan Jr., son of Gerald, man. I'm continuing on the legacy. I'm walking out of the shadows of my father and creating my own legacy.
Yeah.
I'll continue his own.
Yeah.
You know, so to ask your question, how far I'm gonna take this, I'm taking this all the way. Like, I'm by next year, I'm gonna get me a local title, a Texas belt by next year. That is so, like, and then from there, like, you know, we looking at some form, you know, a baby WBC or a WBC belt. Like, I mean, hey, listen, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in it to win it. So,
well, there's certainly no shortage of belts out there nowadays. There's lots of them.
hey.
And now you raise a good point, though, about having a great team around you, though. But looking back, there's a lot of criticism in that Nigel Benn documentary regarding the fight he had with your father, with the team that he had around him going into that fight, and if there were health issues prior to that weren't addressed because of the people that he had around him. Is there any truth to that? Do you believe?
Yeah. Okay. So, from as far as what I know, so there's a lot of speculation, but as far as what I know, man, that team he had around him was just shitty, man. Like, there was the team he had around him was a whole bunch of yes, man. Like, you know, there was a whole bunch of, you know, because, okay, so my dad parted ways with one of the best assets, you know, that he had a part of his career, and that was Emmanuel Stewart.
Rest in peace, the great one. Yeah.
Rest in peace, man. Like, you know, after he parted ways, you know, which, you know, there's a couple stories behind, you know, why they parted ways. Some said that it was money issues. Some say that my father didn't feel like he was getting the attention that he needed, you know, because Emmanuel had so many different champions, you know, like, I mean, so we'll never know, you know, only them knew, you know, we'll never know. But
then he ended up with that guy with the sailor's hat that didn't look like he knew what he was doing.
That was Stan. He was my dad's amateur coach, man.
Yeah.
Like, what in the hell can? Okay, my dad simply used him just to hold the hand pads.
Yeah.
That's it. No, my dad was so confident in himself. You know, he felt like he didn't need, you know, Emmanuel anymore since he wasn't getting the attention. He felt like he didn't need Emmanuel, so he felt like, well, I've come this far with him, so, you know, maybe, you know, I mean, it's obvious that I'm doing something right.
Right.
So, you know, I could do this on I could venture off and do this on my own, you know,
right.
alone, you know. So And my dad, and that's another thing, pride, man. My dad was real proud, man. Like, and I could see where they say that I'm just like him in that sense because, like, I always want to take matters into my own hands.
Yeah.
Like, so, if I'd rather me get something done myself than having to ask or depend on somebody else to do it.
Right.
So, my dad, he formed his own team. Okay, let me go get my old coach, from amateur days. Let me get him, and we just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a mistake, a careless, mistake that he had made, by trusting the wrong people that was supposed to, have his, like, at the end of the day, even though I'm the boss, even though I'm the money maker, and I still have the last say so on things. Like, I would want people to in my circle to at least have an opinion to voice an opinion, to tell me when I'm wrong. Tell me when you think that I'm wrong.
Bring up concerns.
Yeah, don't just say yes to everything. Like, Well,
I thought one of the more poignant and more or less sad moments in that documentary was when one of the guys said, back in the dressing room, and your dad's wrapping his own hands, and he's just like, none of these fucking guys can figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on my own here. Like, no one knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. So, and I've been told that my dad came to the corner one of the rounds, when his head was bothering him. And he told them, like, yeah, something don't feel right. There's something wrong with my head, man. Like, it feel like there's water running inside my head.
Yes.
So, like, the team I have right now, which I picked very carefully, if I was to tell them something like that, they'd be like, oh, no, fight is off.
Pull you out. Yeah.
Yeah, like, come on. Like,
yeah.
My aunt, Lisa, the things that she does as far as my career, like she's like the if S.O.G, if Team S.O.G was a firm or a club or whatever, an establishment, which it is, but in order to get in, you would have to, she would be standing in front of the double doors like this.
Yeah. Holding it down.
You got to her. And when I say she a tough ass, I call her a pit bull in the skirt. Like, she's like, you don't want to mess with her, man. And I love the role that she plays. She makes sure, because like she know the game and what it consists of, man. And she knows that there's so many sharks that come in suits and
dirty business. It has its dirty side, definitely.
So easy to get mixed up in it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it does. It definitely. Yeah, there's
actually
definitely
like on that point. It seems like you watch a lot of boxing.
Oh,
Is that something that you ever worry about in your career, like going forward, like bad judging, bad stoppages? Like, we see a lot of that now, and I feel like it's hurting the sport a lot. Like, we just because I like to score a lot of fights myself when I'm watching them, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but like my card doesn't even remotely match what they're talking about. But one ref has it, or one judge has it my way, and then the other two got it some crazy other different way.
Like the Rolly fight when he won the belt, huh?
Yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah. I mean, what do you do in that situation? I guess your best bet is probably just to I mean, obviously the best case scenario is taking it out of the judge's hands and getting knockouts.
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's
But I mean, you're hoping in a sport you go out there and dominate the sport and you win the sport. You know what I'm saying? Nobody snakes you out of it.
Some guys like to fight to the finish, man. My dad happened to be a guy like that, man. I happen to be a guy like that. I like to You know, I'm a warrior, man. You know, I have a warrior spirit, man. You know, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out on my shield, man. I don't, you know. As far, okay, so the knee that my dad took, the second knee.
Yep.
Okay, so the first knee was
I've watched it many times. Yep.
So like the first knee my dad took, like it was to the point right then and there that he should have just been like, no more.
Yeah.
But he kept going. And for him to keep on going, I think the first knee was in the 8th round. And then the second knee was in the 10th round. He got counted out.
Yeah.
Now, the second knee, that was to the point where his body was just like, enough is enough.
Yep.
Because his mind, you know, mind over matter. You know, your mind and I tell, like, you know, when I'm doing drills or, you know, with other pros or with other amateurs or just anybody in the gym, you know, and I may see, you know, the workout is, you know, starting to wear on the person working out with, and their body getting a little fatigued, and they might, you know, say, I'll be on this bag and they be on that bag, and, you know, we punch, and their arms start to, you know, get tired. I'll be like, man, you ain't tired. It's in your mind.
Yeah.
Your body saying that you're tired, but overpower your body with your mind.
Right.
So my dad, you know, his body was feeling the effects of what was going on in his head, you know, physically.
Yeah.
That first knee, we seen that through that first knee. Then he got up. And then, so if he would have just stopped with the first knee, he probably would have never been blind.
But boxers do always like to say that they want to go out on their shield, and I'm sure that your father is no different than all the other guys who want to go out that way. But, you know, going back to the point you make about a good team around you, you could see him throughout the fight, you know, kind of sticking the mouthpiece out, touching his head periodically. I mean, you know, there was obviously, you know, anybody that's astute in that corner should say, hey, Gerald doesn't look right. You know, something's going on.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's his team kind of failing him a little bit.
Exactly.
On a major level, you know, I mean.
Absolutely. That's exactly what that was. That is, and I hope, man, it's so many fans of my dad's, man, and so many people hit me up saying that they watched my dad's career and they watched his last fight and this and that. Like, I hope that any boxer that's pro or amateur have watched that fight and studied that fight.
Yeah.
And seen the signs of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you know, I mean, that too can happen to you.
And not even just boxers, but people that are part of a boxing team, you know, handlers, you know, cornermen, you know, anybody could have spoken up that night and said, hey, you know, Gerald's not looking right. You know, I mean, you know, maybe we should say something, or maybe we should pull him out of this fight, or throw in the towel. He might not have been happy, but it would have been, you know, it would have saved him a lot of damage, though.
Well, we're constantly talking about bad judging and or bad refereeing, and that's another case of bad refereeing. But
that referee, well, in that documentary, that referee took a lot of the brunt too, because he didn't even really speak good English.
He didn't, from my understanding, he couldn't speak English at all.
Yeah. I mean, you know, how do you throw a guy in there to judge a fight that, you know, that's going to be a hotly contested fight? You've got two guys that are big punchers. You know, there was some bad blood between them already. I mean, you know, you got to have a top-notch guy in there. You know, that's not to impugn that guy's work. I don't know his resume, but I certainly know that he's not one of the upper echelon referees. He's not a Joe Cortez or a Mills Lane or a lot of the great guys from back then. He's not one of those guys.
Shout out to Gerald Cortez too. I've been on this show before.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, fair but firm.
Yeah, my just on this show last month, and I think he said he refereed. Like, matter of fact, he refereed the first fight with Julian Jackson in my dad.
Yeah, and that was a war too. Yeah.
Man.
Well, listen, man, we're definitely part of Team S.O.G, man. Count us in, man. We're in, man. We're fans, man, and we're happy as hell that you did this, man. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, man. You're a great young man, man. And we wish you nothing but success going forward, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Hey, this is only the tip of the iceberg, man.
Yeah. And please, please stay in touch, and hopefully we can keep doing this from time to time. Whenever you got something big going, man, pop on here with us, man.
Yes, sir. Just let me know. I'll send you guys footage. Keep you updated on everything.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. And say hi to the family for us, man. Best wishes to your dad, man.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on here, man.
Thanks, man. Take care.
You too.
Later. That's a good young man right there. That's a good young man.
Yeah, facts. That was a great interview.
Yeah, rooting for some big things for him, man. And yes, I would like to drive home the point, though, man. That he
I can't say he's a very insightful young man because he's older than me, but very insightful guy, though. I like him.
And I love the fact that he said something very poignant in the last couple minutes of that interview, man, that I would implore anybody on any level of boxing, amateur, pro, if you've been doing this for 5 minutes or 25 years, man, you know what I mean? And not just the fighters themselves, but handlers, trainers, managers, coaches, the guy holding the fucking spit bucket. Everybody should be in tune to what's going on with their fighter, dude. You shouldn't just be fucking like watching them. Geez, let me watch and make sure he's throwing the left hook. But yeah, that's great and all, but watch for the other signs too, because Gerald McClellan Sr. in that Nigel Benn fight, and I do back up what he said. People should go and use that as a template and watch that fight, man. Gerald McClellan was showing signs, and then he took 2 knees. The second one he chose to not get up on, but he had the gumshoe out. He's got it between his teeth. He was obviously having a hard time drawing in oxygen. He kept touching his eye as if he was cut. He said, he told his cornermen in between rounds when they were pouring the water over his head that it felt like the water was running inside of his head. I mean, there were signs there, man. His team failed him, man. His team failed him, and it culminated in a very unfortunate situation, man. But thankfully, man, there's good people out there around Gerald McClellan Sr. He talked about his Aunt Lisa, who's featured prominently in the documentary, where and the whole crux of that documentary was eventually, showing a lot of the fight footage, but eventually showing these guys reconciling later on in life, because Nigel Benn is very distraught and has been for many years over the outcome of that fight. I don't think anybody goes in there to maliciously, hurt another guy. It is the hurt business, but invariably, though, I think everybody wants everybody else to walk out of there in one piece at the end of the night. And if you do watch that fight, Gerald McClellan, at the end of that fight, after he takes the knee, he is in his corner while there's hoopla and all kinds of mania going on in the ring. He is down in the corner being worked on, and I don't know, they had kneels out, they had a neck brace on him. He was responding a little bit, but he was down. They had him laid out flat, and it was a very serious and scary situation, man. Unfortunate stuff happens in boxing. I mean, Boom Boom Mancini back in the 80s, I mean, he beat that Korean kid, and that kid went to the hospital and never woke up again. So, I mean, there is a dark side to boxing,
Right. It's thankless sport sometimes.
It's a thankless sport, man. But Gerald McClellan Jr., S.O.G., son of Gerald, I think he's going to do big things, man. I mean, he's a 34-year-old, but he's probably still in a 24-year-old's body, probably because of his circumstances and being incarcerated. So he don't have a lot of mileage on him right now, man. So that's why he's able to fight, half a dozen times a year. So hopefully upward and onward for him, man.
Yep. On that note, I'm going to quote our great American poet, Gary Busey, by saying that you, the Alexis Arguello puppet, me, Gerald
all the McClellans.
Yes, all the McClellans.
They're all warriors. Aunt Lisa,
and Gary Busey,
Gerald Sr., Gerald Jr., all the McClellan clan, warriors.
Can all go 15 seconds with anything.
With anything. And on that note, I will end this episode. And by the way, I want to thank Gerald McClellan Jr. Go out and give that young man some support. Be part of the street team representing Houston, Texas down there, man. He's doing great things, man. I would recommend it, those 175-pound boys or those 168-pound boys. You don't know. He could be coming for either one of you.
Right.
Trouble's on its way, man. He's making up for lost fucking time in a big way. And then, no, I will end this with a big, giant, maybe for the last time, Bazang!